Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Commander's Crypt. I've got an awesome video for you today. Today, I've got the top 15 best cards of Fallout. I like this set. The set is strong. I originally wanted to do just the top 10, but there's so many good cards in the set that I decided to go with 15. So without further ado, we will get into it. Honorable mention, Diamond City. Enters the battlefield with a shield counter on it. And it's basically an Umbra. If it would be dealt damage or destroy, remove a shield counter from it instead. You get to move a shield counter onto it if two or more creatures enter the battlefield under your control this turn. So that's ETBs. That's not cast. I like this card. I think it's got a utilitarian purpose. It basically puts an Umbra on your commander. And if someone goes to board wipe, everything else gets wiped out except your commander. So, number 15, Over Encumbered. 1 white and 1. When it enters battlefield, create a clue, food, and junk token. At the beginning of combat, on enchanted player's turn, that player may pay 1 for each artifact they control. If they don't, creatures can't attack this turn. I like this card. It does what white does. It's a permission color. If somebody's got a lot of artifacts going on their board, then this would work very well. So this would be a good card to have in your deck. Next, number 14, Strong Back. Enchant creature. Equip abilities. You activate the target enchanted creature costs 3 less to activate. Or as spells you cast, that target enchanted creature costs 3 less to cast. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 for each aura and equipment attached to it. I like that. Number 13, Mutational Advantage. Permanents you control with counters on them gain hexproof and indestructible till end of turn. Prevent all damage that will be dealt to those permanents this turn proliferate. If only this was just green in 1, or maybe 2 greens in 1, I think this would be a very much better card, because then you could run it with your heroic interventions. But it's Simic, blue, green, and 1, and I think this is a very good card. Number 12, Battle of Hoover Dam. 1 white and 3. When it enters the battlefield, choose NCR or Legion. NCR at the beginning of your end step. Return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Legion, whenever a creature you control dies, put 2 +1 counters on target creature control. Very, very good for white. It's basically a Sun Titan. I like this card as well. Number 11, Young Deathclaws. It's green, black, and 2 menace. This creature can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. Each creature card in your graveyard has scavenge. The scavenge cost is equal to its mana cost. So you basically, for the mana cost, scavenge out of your graveyard and put +1 counters equal to that card's power on target creature. I like this card a lot. Next, we've got the Nipton Lottery. It's Rakdos and 2. Choose a creature at random. You gain control of that creature till end of turn. Untap it, engage haste till end of turn. Destroy all of the creatures. It's basically a board wipe. I like this card. You could potentially, it could be a potential one-sided board wipe if it goes your way. Next is a Screeching Scorch Beast. I like this guy. I really like this guy a lot. Black, 2 black, and 4 flying menace. Whenever he attacks, each player gets 2 red counters. Whenever one or more non-land cards are milled, you may create that many 2 black zombie mutant creature tokens. Do this only once each turn. So the red counters are counters that go on players, and before their upkeep, they mill however many red counters they have. They mill their deck. So basically what this guy does is he attacks, gives everybody red counters, and then when everybody has to mill their decks, you create 2 black zombie creature tokens for however many non-land cards are milled. I like this card a lot. This is going to go into my Cyber Controller deck. Go check out my Cyber Controller videos. I've done 2 or 3. I actually really like that commander. I think he was the strongest commander of 2023. Anytime you've got a commander with an X spell and you got infinite mana, that just that's a recipe for disaster for your opponents. But Screeching Scorch Beast in that deck would work well. If you can't go infinite, what you do is you cast your commander, mill your opponents, and however many creatures get put on the battlefield, you get a 3/3 Cyberman. Or however many non-land cards are milled, you get zombies. So you can overrun your opponents with this guy. I really like this guy a lot. Next is Wild Wasteland. This does what red does. Red and 2, skip your draw step. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. This card, if you were in Boros, would work really well with Island Sanctuary. If you have an Island Sanctuary and this card, you basically still get to draw 2 cards per turn, but you don't get a draw step, and ground creatures cannot attack you. It basically makes you a very cheap moat. But I like this. This is kind of the counterpart to a blue card, which I will show you that's also in this set. Next, my favorite card is Rad Storm. Blue and 3 Storm. Proliferate. So there you go. You put this with a Tide Spout Tyrant or a Hull Breacher Horror, and you bounce something up and down in infinity, then you can proliferate. This card has the potential for shenanigans, and so I like it very much. And here's the blue counterpart to Wild Wasteland that I was talking about. Struggle for Project Purity. 1 blue and 3. As Struggle for Project Purity enters the battlefield, choose Brotherhood or Enclave. Brotherhood, at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent draws a card. You draw a card for each card drawn this way. And Enclave, whenever a player attacks you with 1 or more creatures, that player gets twice that many rad counters. Well, you could probably just get your Sharpie out and Sharpie out that second ability, because you're going to be using it for the first ability there. What's going to happen is you're going to, in a pod of 4, draw at least 4 cards every turn with this card. Very, very strong. But if you play in bigger pods, which I do, sometimes we play in pods of 5, 6, 7, 8. You're going to be drawing, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards per turn. You're going to be able to string along your combos or do whatever else you want to do with that. Next is Vats. Very strong card. 2 black and 2, split second. Choose any number of target creature with equal enough to destroy the chosen creature. So this is a one-sided board wipe. It has split second, so you can stop the stack if someone's doing some shenanigans. I think this card is very, very strong. I think that it could have been a little bit higher, but I've got it at number 5 just because you'll see. I've got. I really like this card because it's a split second and it is a one-sided board wipe. Next, number 4, Inventory Management. Another split-second card. You could probably interchange these two in the positions that I'm using them for. Split Second is a very awesome mechanic, and I'm glad to see it come back. As long as the spell is on the stack, players can't cast spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. And then for each aura and equipment you control, you may attach it to a creature you control. I really, really, really like this card. Go check out my videos. I've got a few videos out there on Split Second shenanigans that basically once you start the combo, there's nothing your opponents can do because of Split Second. Next, number 3, I have Watchful Radstag. I think that the shenanigans for this card has a high potential because it basically copies itself whenever a creature with a bigger power comes on the board. So it says evolve whenever a creature enters the battlefield and you control it, that creature has greater power or toughness than this creature. Put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Whenever the Rad Stag evolves, create a token that's a copy of it. So you're going to have tokens everywhere, making more tokens, etc., etc., etc. That's why I have this card so high. Scoot Swarm, anyone? Number 2, in my humble opinion, I've got Alpha Deathclaw as number 2, and you're probably saying, why? Why do you have Alpha Deathclaw number 2? He's strong by himself. He's a 6/6 for 6 mana, which I always love when you got that type of conversion. But he's menace, he's trample. But here it is. When Alpha Deathclaw enters the battlefield or becomes monstrous, destroy target permanent. Then, green-black 5, monstrosity 4, alpha striking people with this and your other creatures. And then number 1, I've got Nuclear Fallout. I really, really like this card. 2 black and X sorcery. Each creature gets twice -X until end of turn. Each player gets X rad counter. So we already know how good Toxic Deluge is, and this is a Toxic Deluge on steroids. It's already good to wipe out indestructible creatures. It doubles your X, but then it can also be a win con. To me, it's very much like Torment of Hailfire. Again, if you have a lot of mana or infinite mana, you could use this to wipe the board of indestructibles, and it could also be a win con. Again, go check out my Cyber Controller deck. That deck is built to take advantage of X spells. It's got all kinds of infinite mana capabilities, and this would be one more win con in that deck. I've already got a Torment of Hailfire, and the commander is a big X spell on his own. So there you go. I hope you like my top 15. Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? There's a lot of good cards in the set, and these are my favorite. Top 10 lists are always like, objective. So let me know how you feel about it. I kind of explained why I went with my system. So that's it. That's all. We're going to get on out of here. If you're still here, if you're listening, if you're subscribing, you are my friend. We just have not met yet. That's why I always start all of my videos with hello, my friends. So that's it. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next Commander's CRYPT New Orleans.